Welcome to Backstage with Becca B with special guest David Schubert from Civilian Hotel. Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Backstage with Becca B. On this episode, I'm talking with the guest experience manager of one of my favorite New York hotels, the Civilian Hotel. We're talking about travel tips and all the need to knows about your upcoming trip to New York City to see your favorite theater shows. Please welcome David Schubert. How are you?
We're having a good winter. How are you doing?
Yes, I love that for you all.
Thank you. So I'm trying to sort out. I think we got to go vertical, unfortunately. I'm
Yeah,
sorry about
no, that
that.
works.
Yeah,
It's yeah, totally fine.
cool. Hmm. Awesome.
So
Okay.
you're having a good winter. What's going on at the hotel?
Yeah, so we had a good Thanksgiving, and then um really after then we start seeing like everybody coming on holiday to the hotel. And it's a really busy time, like for theater and all of that. And it's a really fun time because all the holiday markets are open right now, and the weather's been really nice, so it's been good.
Love that. Do y'all have
Yeah.
any snow in the forecast at all or no?
No, so
Oh,
I want to say in the last year we've had two, maybe three snows, and none of them stick. So
oh my God.
yeah, so like the classically winter New York is not really much of a thing anymore. It feels very subtropical these days.
That's so strange. Well, I'm
Yeah.
going back to Texas for the holidays, and I feel like the weather said it's going to be like 60 and 70, and I'm like, no.
I mean, that sounds dreamy to me, but yeah,
Like
I could see
I
how it's,
I hate the cold, but also when it's winter, I love the cold. I don't know.
yeah,
And
definitely.
it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
So I've never actually done an interview like this before with someone who's not directly involved with a theater show. But I want to start off with my normal first question, which is, oh, what was the first professional theater show you ever saw?
Oh, yeah, it was actually a touring version of Wicked in Chicago.
Ooh,
Yeah, it was a long time ago now. I want to say that would be like 2005 or 2006, something like that, I would guess.
yes,
Yeah,
the
a good
first one.
long while ago. Yeah, my family like met up. We were all in different places at that time, and we had some family in Chicago, so we all met there and saw the show. And yeah, for professional. And then my dad had done orchestra, like pit orchestra for theater before too. So like he was really big into things like Urinetown and Jesus Christ Superstar and things like that, for like local production. So I was always very interested in like the melodies behind shows and things like that. I found a really cool component.
Oh, that's awesome. So you've always like kind of had interest in theater and been a fan of theater, it sounds like.
You know, it was always there, but the interesting thing for me was that I never had like the theater kid background growing up or anything like that. I saw it from afar, and I saw people having so much fun, like either in theater or going to it and all of that. But it was kind of like a black box to me until later on. And I'm really glad that I gravitated towards it in the end because there's just so much joy to it. I mean, I love um, that in a performance, you have people trying their very best at something, and there's just something magical that happens in that room and in that space, that happens just ever so slightly differently every night and every afternoon.
Yeah.
So there's something really special about being there for that type of thing. But no, I mean, I didn't come up in theater. I came to it super late, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
So wait, did you grow up in Chicago or where did you grow up?
I grew up in California and Texas for the most part. I was in the
Oh.
Bay Area and in Austin, and then a little bit upstate New York. But
Okay.
yeah,
What brought you to New York career-wise?
sure. Yeah. So I was a nurse for a long time and I was doing travel nursing. And I knew that I was wanting to get out of nursing. So I figured I would challenge myself one last time and I was doing travel nursing. So I took my final contract was at Bellevue here in Manhattan. And it was worth every penny. It was a
Wow.
good last challenge. And then I just transitioned back to hotels. Before I did nursing, I did hotels. So back
What?
to that.
Yeah, I'm curious about how you found that interest when it comes to hospitality and when it comes to hotels. So
Uh,
your title is guest experience manager at Civilian? Is that that's right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what sparked your interest?
Yeah. And I know the title's a bit like um amorphous, I guess, where there's not like a rigid job description. What I like most about it is that there's room for making sure people are having a good time here at the hotel. Sometimes that's like giving people a lot of attention, and sometimes that's just making sure that I'm available to them to like help them plan their trip. Um, I think probably one of my happiest things was setting up programs for children here, just because Manhattan is not the friendliest or most inviting city for kids, which like there are very pointed things you can do, like theater and certain parts of the city. But as far as like setting up a 5 day trip, it's pretty intimidating for parents, honestly. If you don't have a child that knows exactly what they want to do, it's hard to fill the days. And it's also very expensive. New York's a very expensive city to visit, right? You come here, you know how expensive it
Yes,
gets.
especially here.
So there's also like a want for me, like an appreciation that even just after airfare and hotel, like that's a lot of money. And so it's important to be able to help people plan trips that are affordable, that are you can help to say like these are the things that it's worth spending the money on, even though it's expensive, and these are things that you can do for free or that you don't need to pay for necessarily. So trying to make trips affordable and approachable for people, because unless you grew up in or you travel a lot in big cities, it's intimidating to like use the trains and get around and not feel like people are running you over all the time, things like that.
Right. I'm still intimidated by the train system.
Yeah.
I think I did it back to the city once, but I took like a $70 Uber out of the city and everyone was like, "What are you doing? Why didn't you take the train?"
Yeah, and that's, you know what though, I will make the argument that that's okay because um, if you are more comfortable and happier spending $70 to go to or from a place, and that's going to be a better bookend to your trip, I'm going to suggest doing that. I think that's a good idea and worth the money. Like that's a good example of that. And I can give you two or three free things to do that'll offset that. Like that's,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it would if I feel like I probably would have been more stressed out if I had taken the train there. So it would have
Mm,
affected the entire trip
totally.
in some way.
Totally get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally get it.
So when you're looking for a place to work, what stands out to you about a hotel? Because Civilian's a fairly new hotel.
Yes, it's a new hotel. What stood out to me was that it's a company of characters. There's not like a set uniform. We don't have people wearing name tags. The last hotel I worked in before here was Four Seasons, and so it was that corporate rigidity. It was a great company. It is a great company.
Yeah.
and still have friends that work there. But like here, what I really appreciate, and it's kind of true to the neighborhood and true to people who are fans of theater and the performing arts, is that we're not looking to suppress anything that makes someone uniquely themselves. And so you can ask a question to one of the people working here, and they're going to answer organic to themselves. And it's not like we've shoved down their throat the way that we want them to answer. You're talking to humans, and we want every interaction to be organic and natural. And so there's a sense of like authenticity to that. That I really appreciate. Like I remember when I came and interviewed here, um, I was kind of like in a bit of a funk, and the way that I was kind of dealing with that was I was wearing expressive clothes. And I remember I showed up to the interview in this, if you remember like Seinfeld's puffy shirt, it was a bit like
Okay.
that. It was just out there, and I remember showing up and just kind of being like, this is just who I am right now. And um, it was kind of met in stride. Like I interviewed with one person who I would describe kind of as almost like your regular semi-formal business attire, and the next person I interviewed with had like very flashy style, and it was apparent just from talking to the two of them that there was a great amount of range here. So um, I think that what's important looking for a job is that there's a good amount of freedom for people working there, and then also that people are treated equally no matter who they are, what they sound like, where they come from, what language they speak, what their interests are, things like that. And I think it's easier to say that than to prove it. And I've found really early on a lot of things in New York are transparent and honest, brutally so sometimes, but that um, the person that someone shows you they are in the first 5 minutes in this city is usually who they really are. And I got a great impression of that here at the place I work at.
And I feel like that extends to like y'all's attitude towards customers too, which I'm assuming it's helped for me, which I'm assuming has helped with customers returning to the hotel throughout the years, throughout the 2 years you'll have been open, or
Yeah,
3.
totally. I mean, it's really cool that like yeah, we just turned 3 years old this past month,
Amazing.
and we have a good handful of people that most of our staff recognize by face and by name, and we know people on a first name basis. We can do things very formally if people want that. Like if you want a traditional like Mr. and Mrs. type deal, so be it. But we'd much rather, like we're hosting people away from home, and if we have opportunity to get to know you and be friendly with you and get to know who you are, we're not going to forget that in between when you come visit. Like I know, for example, you've stayed with us a handful of times, and everybody here knows Becca and Angel. I mean, it's just,
Mostly
um, yeah, especially Angel, of course.
Angel.
But like we think of people very much as like friends that are coming to visit, and we get to know. It's a real honor.
Yeah, and by the time like your visit ends, I feel like, at least for us, it feels like kind of a home away from home, which is really special.
Yes, we want people to feel safe here. That's a big component for us, and like that's I think one of the great appeals to me about finding, and it doesn't have to be like here at the place I work, but really anywhere when you travel, when you feel comfortable there, either because you feel like you're amongst a bunch of like-minded people, or where you just feel like it's your blood pressure drops 10 points when you walk in the door. That's a really good feeling. And it's like something that when you recognize that, you want to go back there. So we like that here because when I think about like theater community, I think back to how people's experiences were sometimes in school, and that wasn't always positive. And so this is kind of a mecca, a home base, a cool spot where it's like you could be around 300 other people just as excited to go see a new show, and you're going to talk about stuff in the elevators or around the building. There's excitement about it. And that's something that, like, if your friend group that way was like 10 people when you're growing up, and now you can be around a couple hundred adults that are equally excited as you, or see other teenagers as excited as you, that makes you feel happier inside. So we like that too.
Yes, and one of my favorite things about the hotel is that throughout the hotel there are so many like intricate things that relate to theater. And I'm always coming to see like 1,000 theater shows or trying to fit in 1,000 theater shows to my trip. So I'm always like running back and forth. But there's like pictures everywhere. And on the second floor, there's like little like stage layouts too,
Yes.
which is really awesome. What is your personal favorite theater related art,
Oh man,
a picture or something in the hotel?
for sure. For me, I think my favorite is the original set sketch rendering for Fiddler on the Roof. It's on loan. It's on the second floor, close to the bathrooms in the main cocktail room. It's in a glass panel in the wall. And yeah, I mean, like, 'cause that's 70, 80 years old now. It's really cool. But other than that, my second favorite would be the hat that Idina Menzel wore in the original Wicked production, which, like, how can
My
you
God.
top that, really? I mean, it's
Oh my,
timely right now too, right? I mean, it's
right.
having its heyday.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Like that can help with like marketing and stuff too.
Yeah, it's
Really.
super cool. So like the fact that David Rockwell and his friends are kind enough to just constantly be loaning and supplying us with new cool things. Like right now, I'm looking this way at new things that are like 20 feet away from Anne
Ooh.
Juliet, that just came in recently. So yeah, the um, it's very cool. And then in all the rooms, we have like costume design sketches from people like William Ivy Long and Isabel Toledo, that are super cool, like from pre-production and mid-production, that are really fun. So like even if you stay with us more than one time and you stay in a different room, you're gonna have like a different costume design in the room. It's a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh. It's for theater, it's like specifically for theater geeks. But
Yeah,
I'm sure there's
totally.
people who aren't into theater who also like come and stay and they get to like see everything theater related, maybe like learn some history about theater, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's been really kind of fun and interesting too, because we do get some people that are, like bankers that'll come with us. And even if theater isn't their thing, like the the way that the rooms are set is super dramatic, because like a theater set design, Tony Award winning guy, designed the rooms too. So they look cool in photos and all that. People love that. Um, and like the whole drink menu on the second floor is has a flair for the dramatic. They're all very photogenic and things like that. So
Oh my
um,
goodness. No, absolutely. Also with the rooms, I want to talk about the rooms because
yeah.
the design of the rooms is so good. Like obviously in New York City, when you stay in New York City, you know it's going to be a small room
Yeah.
because like it's just like everything's packed together on one street as close as can be. But the rooms also feel like provide comfortable amounts of space and provide like such innovative ideas where to put like luggage and stuff like that. How
Mhm.
like what is can you talk about the design that went into the room that you know of?
Yeah. So as you said, it's New York, and the rooms are shoebox sized. Like, for people who have not yet visited New York, the usual reaction when you walk into your hotel room is like to laugh at it. I feel
Right.
like is very normal, natural, and to be like, this is it. This is the whole room. Um, and the plan for our rooms was we have to make the most of every square inch. We want it to look super cool and fun, but it has to be functional too. So we have like the safe pulls out from under the bed. It's in like a hidden drawer. There's like a little seating area in all the rooms, and underneath that is some storage space. There's stuff inlaid in the walls, like a half wardrobe in the wall, so you can hang a couple things. And then because we're new yet and only a couple years old, we were starting to get feedback on like we need more hanging space. So our engineers started finding the right places on the walls to start like adding hooks on and things like that. So right, like we have to adapt too. Um, and the showers too, there's a little bit of like a waltz that you do to get in and out because it's tiny and all that. And a lot of it, like we want it to be aesthetically pleasing, but still functional and ergonomic. And it feels like everything is this like a puzzle box almost that you get to unwrap and find all the uses in the room for. But I would say the way that I look at it is that our rooms are wonderful for rest and they're good for photos, and you should be spending most of your time out enjoying the city, and then you can come back and rest. But
Yes.
you're meant to come here and go play, right? You should be outside enjoying New York.
Oh my gosh. But like they're comfortable too at the end of the day. Like when you come home and you're ready to rest or come back to the hotel and ready to rest, like it's comfy. Like you don't feel claustrophobic, I feel like. And I get claustrophobic easily.
Okay, that's
So
good feedback too. Yeah, and more and more, like I talk to people who are range from like 10 years old to 80 because I'm curious what the experience is like. And it's everyone is having a good time. I think that like managing expectations to understand what you're in for is good too. Like if you're staying a week, that's a long time and you want to bring a lot of stuff. But also being mindful of like you don't maybe need to bring two big suitcases if you're going to be out all the time. You just don't, even though you want to, but
yeah.
you don't have to. Yeah.
No, you definitely don't. And you want to like fit stuff. You want to like unpack the suitcase when you come in. Like I've learned that. I'm like you unpack the suitcase when you go into a New York hotel. You hang up everything you need, and then that's the way to stay organized.
Yeah,
It-
totally.
yeah,
Totally.
and it
And you
works.
you definitely want to have one or two like flashy outfits because I
Yeah.
guarantee you when you come to New York, you're gonna have at least one night that you want to look super pretty or super handsome, whatever your thing is. You will. There's gonna be one night where you like want to look amazing and feel really good about yourself. You want to have comfortable clothes for getting around, and then kind of like something in between, right? So
Like comfy shoes and stuff because
yeah,
walking a lot. Or
yeah,
flashy Halloween costumes for October because October in New York, I figured
yes,
out goes hard. Like y'all,
yes.
it's insane.
Yeah, a lot of good costumes. It's true. A lot
Oh
of
my
good
gosh.
costumes.
I feel like it's more wild than Christmas in New York at this point.
Yeah, it has taken that over for sure. I agree with that. Halloween and New Year's. Well, New Year's is of course a classic. So
Oh
there's
my
that
gosh.
coming up too.
So with New Year's coming up, that brings up an interesting conversation. How do you all handle the crowds coming in during holiday seasons?
Yes. So for New Year's in New York, hotel wise, like we have greater security and more staff than we normally would. Like you've stayed with us before. When you come back late at night, you'll see that like hotels have security around to keep you safe, like the doors locked. Like our doors, for example, you can only come in by key card, or if staff lets you in after midnight for security and all of that. And on New Year's, you have that, but like we'll have parties here that go till 4 a.m. On the rooftop and the second floor and in the first floor. So we have three different levels of that. People party in their rooms. There's Times Square, of course. But most folks will like pick a spot and then stay there all night.
Yeah.
So like it's a ticketed thing and you hang out for like the ball drop and champagne and all that. Um, some people do Times Square, but it's mighty cold.
Oh,
You know, they don't talk about how cold it is. It's very
I don't
cold.
I don't think I could brave that. Like the parade, maybe the Thanksgiving Day parade, maybe, but I don't
Mhm.
think I could ever brave the Times Square thing.
It's very cold and you have to be there in place for hours and hours and hours. So it's kind of, it would be tough.
Have you
It would be
personally
tough.
ever done
No, I've been, I'm too scared of crowds that big, honestly.
that?
I know that sounds crazy. I live in a city of 8 million people, but I'm kind of like crowd avoidant type
But
person. So it's not for me.
I feel like when you're in a city that's that big, like there's maybe less attention on you than in a city that's small. So maybe
Yes,
like that's the reason you're comfortable in a city that's big, but don't like
100%.
crowds.
100%. In fact, that's kind of one of my pitches about this city is that when you've lived in, say, a town of 70,000 or 2,000, and people know your business all day, and you can't wear a different color shoe without people taking notice, there's a great appeal to the anonymity of New York and places like it where you can go throughout your whole day and not see anyone you know and just live your life. And you can call people or go meet them, but if you wanted to just have a whole day, do everything you want to do and not see anyone you know, it's a real nice thing.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. I also want to talk about how y'all are partners with a lot of successful Broadway shows currently, including Wicked. How do you all build those partnerships?
Yes, it's really fun, and we're very lucky to do that. Those who have a keen eye would have in the last year noticed interviews filmed here from people like Patti LuPone, Nicole Scherzinger, Alyssa Milano, um, just the ones off the top of my head, Today Show, things like that. A
Iconic.
lot of for the shows, it's because we are keenly interested in working with company managers and with production companies from early on in their process, like including building of sets. It's been fun to, for example, have some of the design team that will work with us while they're here to set up a magnificent stage set and things like that, and then to do press. And it's really cool because we have a lot of um, respect and reverence for all the parts that go into theater. Like there's so much that happens from concept to buying a ticket and going to see a show. And it's really cool that we have partnerships that show up in different ways along that journey. It's been really cool. You're right. And I think that that's a really fun thing for people that stay here with us is to know that you're in the same spaces that really powerful artists and creatives have been in. It's really cool.
And I feel like when I first visited the hotel, like none of that had happened yet. And it was like brand new. I feel like y'all had been
Yeah,
open for like maybe a couple months. And then I started seeing like like Broadway opening nights happening and stuff, and like people coming and like hanging out at the
crazy.
rooftop after
Yeah,
their opening. And I'm like, I
yeah,
love that this is picking up because it's such
amazing.
a visually appealing space too. For
Yeah, it's really amazing. I mean, like we have had some cool events on the rooftop. Um, that's for sure. And you're right, it wasn't always like this. And I was just the other day, I met with one of the folks who's been staying with us since we were 3 weeks old. And she was telling me how strange it was to be one of 8 guests staying at a Manhattan hotel because we were that young, right? We had no TripAdvisor reviews. We had no Google reviews. There were more staff than guests at that point. And um, yeah, there's always appeal, right, of staying at a place that's not a chain and um, that cares about you as a person rather than like just money or something like that.
Yes.
Real
Yeah.
nice.
I mean, and like at the end of the day, a hotel is still a business, but like being a guest and like feeling like you're accepted there and feeling like, hey, they remember me when I come back in at 1 a.m. is a really nice feeling.
Totally. And I would say that most of us that you've had the pleasure of getting to see and know are lucky in that we don't have to personally worry about the business end of it. We can be solely concerned with making sure people are having a good time with us. Um, we're very lucky and comfortable that way, I would say. Yeah,
Yes. I
yeah,
mean, the business end of things, from what I've seen, like online and stuff, every time I like come back to be like, oh, I'm going to New York, I want to stay at Civilian. Like, you all have the prices have stayed incredibly reasonable for a New York Manhattan hotel that's in walking distance to Times Square and all the theaters.
yeah.
And I'm just wondering how do you all do that? Because that's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. And I would say that we try to stay very competitive. It's really tough. The prices only go up every year for everything in this world, it feels like. I mean, I know from food to travel to insurance, everything, theater tickets, all of this stuff. It seems to only go up and never go down. So it's that part of it's a struggle, right? But we want to never be pricing people out of a community. And like when someone has come and stayed with us before and they gravitate towards it and love it, um, and reach back out to us, like you have, for example,
Yeah.
right?
I love,
And you say,
hey,
I want to come back. These are kind of the dates I'm looking at. What can you do for me and Angel?
she loves
Um,
it when seeing you
yeah,
all. She like wags her tail when she comes in.
amazing. Yes, we love the both of y'all here. And like we will try everything in our power to make that possible. And we have human compassion and we try to work with people within their budgets. And if like dates are too expensive, we'll try and give you suggestions for like other dates because New York is very seasonal. So if you're looking at dates that are like, I know, for example, I want to say half of March and like some of April, the rates are super high across the city.
A lot
Um,
open.
yeah. And so like there's just a lot going on. And so we could suggest you different weeks. That's
Yeah.
super common too. Because they're probably, I would say, 8 weeks out of the year that the rates are so insane, and then another 8 weeks out of the year that they feel like rock bottom and
Yeah.
super affordable. So it's about like picking and choosing your dates, and if you can make that work, then you can keep it affordable.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think the transparency also is really cool too. And
Yes.
also you all have like a free Sunday deal, which is awesome.
Yeah. Super cool. Where if you stay 3 or more nights, and I think like you come in on a Friday, then yeah, the Sunday is free. It knocks down that average rate a lot. It's super nice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Like
Yeah.
what other place does that? Come on.
Yeah. I love that. And then like really too with Today Ticks
Yeah,
and oh,
I
what's
love
the
to do
other
that.
one too? And then like Broadway week deals, really
Like
good.
Broadway
And
Fest,
then
so.
yeah, and then when the weather's nice, if you do rush tickets, like that's good too.
Yes.
Super easy to do.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, the best. Like I hate waking up early, but listen, like it's worth it, especially like sometimes you can get front row for these
I
shows.
think so. I mean, I'll be honest, like um until I sat very, very close for Hadestown, and it was just like such a very different experience to be third row.
Yes.
Um, it really changes your mind about the value of certain tickets and like
Oh my
paying up for them
oh my
for
gosh, yeah,
sure.
no, it definitely does. I mean, I like went out last time I got in, and I was like going to the Gatsby Theater at like 7:30 and got front row
Hmm.
to see Jimmy Jordan sing. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this was worth
Hmm.
it.
Totally.
This was
Right.
speaking of like Broadway stars, do you have a favorite interview that's been filmed at the hotel?
Hmm. Yeah, my favorite, it's actually in the same space I'm sitting in right now. If you went to the Instagram for Sunset Boulevard and scroll down a bit, you would see an ensemble interview with Jamie Lloyd and four of the cast that came over from the West End production talking about porting it over to Broadway here and what that was like for them. And um, I really loved that show a lot. It's a generational show to me. The revival is very special. I mean, it's divisive. Theater purists sometimes really
Ourselves.
struggle to to say they like it because it's so different. But like that's what you would want, right? Like you would want a revival to either be like almost step for step identical to what you know, or so far apart in a way that it makes you rethink what the show is, and it really does that well. Jamie Lloyd is a very special person, and everyone that was in that um, is just special to me. And so that was cool because that's like right
Oh,
here
oh my God.
on this
So,
couch is like where they were
yes.
in what's called the Blue Room on the second floor here. So that was really cool. Yeah, that I think that's tops for me.
Do you get like notice ahead of time when someone's coming in to do an interview, and do you like go like have to like compose yourself?
Yes and no. And the funny thing too is like within the building, like let's say we have 20 or 30 people working on a given day, like what's going to make someone vibrate and be excited is different than someone else. And so it's like what that really excites me. And there would be other people who it's almost like better for them to be working that day because they'll be like, oh, it's whatever. That's okay. Like it's almost better when I stay away from the things that excite me the most because I would be too fanboyish over it all. So
Hey,
uh,
and I don't think
I'm
there's anything wrong with fanboyish.
not at all, not at all. But you, in your head, you want to play it cool, right? And all of that. So, but it's all exciting. I mean, it just because like Coca-Cola is not your thing, and let's say you like Pepsi, doesn't mean that it's not equally exciting to see someone who came up with Coca-Cola. Like that's also exciting.
Right.
So I think of it that
Yes.
way too.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Uh, so I need to ask a few like little fun questions about Broadway. So, what's your favorite Broadway song currently?
Um, yeah, for me right now, I, I've been loving the new Defying Gravity. I mean, I'm in love with the new Wicked soundtrack. Like
Yes.
some people are like Wizard and I, but like I'm really on Defying Gravity right now. I think it's really cool. I look the original. I'm so okay. So I mean, I out myself on this. Last year, my Spotify was 22,000 minutes listened to 290 songs. I'm someone who repeats a song all
Yeah.
year. I do. I like something and I will listen to it on repeat, right?
Same.
So when I say the original Broadway recording was flawless to me and there was nothing that could top it, and then I listened to this and it's different and somehow don't say it's blasphemy. I think it's a little better, but maybe that's the excitement of something new 20 some years later. But I'm loving that right now. I'm loving it.
I
Yeah.
think it's like hearing like the slime tutorials and being like, oh, this is different.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
the little like bits and pieces that people post online. Like some like
Hmm.
different, something different when it comes to a show that you love
Yeah.
is
I
really,
also, I really, I loved in Hadestown, like anything that the Fates were singing was like really up there for me.
they did a whole
Um,
album.
right, really
They did a Christmas
cool.
album
Well,
thing.
I didn't know. Oh, you know what? I saw a thing on that the other day, but I didn't know it was actually real. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's
I
like
gotta
the
check that.
it's like the OGs, I think.
Ah, cool.
I think it's all
Very
three of
cool.
the OG fades from Broadway
Amazing.
did a Christmas album and released it like
Amazing.
in 2020.
Okay. I have to admit, I saw a CD cover for that. I thought it was just a mock-up. I actually thought there's no way that was real. Okay, cool. Now I have something new.
No,
I have new songs to listen to. That's awesome.
right. No, it's awesome. I was like, oh, okay, I love this idea because the voices blend together so well, and I'm such a
Love
Hades
it.
girl.
I love it. Yes, I love it.
So good. And what an honor to be partners with both of those shows and both
Yes,
grind.
yes. And I can tell you, the folks that I've interacted with from that show are all wonderful people. It's
Oh my,
always like a nice thing to learn, right? Whether people
yes.
are good folks, they're all wonderful people.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
mean, which is like it's so cool to see someone have success and then be like just like normal, like, hey, a good person,
Hmm.
really genuine good person.
Hmm.
And before I kind of like wrap up, I want to ask because of this little gal right here. So you
Hmm.
all are also, which is really important to me as someone with a service animal, because she's my little service dog,
Yeah.
a pet friendly hotel. Why is it important for you all to stay pet friendly?
Yeah, totally. And it's important because like earlier I had said, we want people to feel comfortable here, and that means different things to different people. Um, some folks are able to and want to board their pets at home. That's something they want to do or choose to do. And some people cannot travel without their pets. And for them, like the term pet doesn't really necessarily encompass what this animal is to them, right? Like it's different. So we definitely have respect for that. And um, New York is a place where kind of everyone in every shade is welcome here and has like a fair shake. Um, and so it's important for us to be pet friendly and pet welcome because if that was going to be the difference between someone coming and not coming, that would be really sad, and we wouldn't want that.
Hey, and you all treat pets very wonderfully. I think she's smiling right now too, which is like a five
Yeah,
star.
we're always trying to like think of something new and cool to do. So like we have the cool beds and we just got some new toys in that are kind of cool too. So um
Aw,
yes, and we just had a pupper come through and set the record of shredding this new toy. This
good.
slice of pizza was gone in like an hour, so it was a big hit.
Oh my goodness. Yes,
Yeah,
that definitely means big hit. Approved.
I think so too. Yeah.
Approved.
Yes.
Yes. Uh, and so where can people follow the hotel on social media to like keep up with everything, keep up with like good deals that you all have going on, keep up with you all during the holiday season, all the fun stuff.
Totally. Yeah. So Civilian Hotel on Instagram, which Civilian Hotel on Instagram is usually the best, I would say. It's like the stories are fun. And if you post and tag stuff with the hotel, we like to share those too, which is I think is a fun thing. Um, and then on the website, which is civilianhotel.com, signing up for the mailing list will make sure you get all the flash sales, which are really good. Like in the last year, I know we've had things that give up to like 40% off. room rates and stuff like that, which is really good.
Oh,
Um, truth be told, we also had some like errors where we accidentally gave even more off, and we still honor those. Like, hey, we're not perfect. So we've had some even better deals than we meant to. Um, but like, I mean, life is messy. It's
hey,
okay.
love
Um,
that.
we're we're happy for people to come spend time with us, and I like to think of it too as like the less you have to spend on your hotel and your flight, the more you can budget for the fun parts of the city, which for me lately has been food and theater. So yeah.
Well, I think for me, it's like only theater, and then I'm like eating Taco Bell, and I'm like, meh.
This is also okay. Yeah,
But
exactly. Priorities.
you gotta choose the priorities in life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. So Taco Bell deal. I'm not sponsored, but the the Manhattan, like the Midtown Manhattan Taco Bells do $1.29 bean and cheese burrito and like $1.19 potato taco. So yes,
Oh,
you can eat super cheap here by Taco Bell, which
and they
is
have
great.
like the cantina next to Wicked too. So
Yes, yes, they do.
love,
Yes, they
love
do. They
that.
have boozy Taco Bells in the city. It's true.
Oh my goodness. The city loves their Taco Bells and their Dunkins
Very true.
and donuts. Yeah.
Very true. Yeah.
And also, I want to say you all have merch too, which is awesome. And I have a shirt. So
Yes.
once you get merch from the hotel when they either when they check in or when they leave, because
Very true.
what better way to rep the hotel than wearing merch?
Very true. And I usually, um, after like 5 or 10 stays, we usually will throw you some merch too as a gift, as a nice thing. So,
Hey, Angel's waiting for the doggy merch.
oh man, okay. We got to get dimensions going for like the doggy sweater. I think that would
Doggy
be
sweater.
cool. That
Yeah.
would be
I
cool.
would
I love
totally get
it.
I would totally get her one.
I'm gonna ask about that. I mean, we get the merch custom anyway, so I'm gonna ask about that. Would be cool.
Hey, that'd be
That'd be
awesome.
cool.
Also, before I end this, I want to ask, do you have anything else that you'd want to say about the hotel, promo about the hotel, literally anything?
Yes. I would say that like uh we will help you plan your trip, like and give you suggestions. I mean, we can give you
Best.
candid suggestions. If you like give us things you like and don't like, then we can help you plan that because the last thing you want to do is waste your precious time on things you wouldn't like. And that's like shows, food, things like that. So we can help you if you don't know what to pick.
Hey, and you all are seriously can confirm the best. Thanks for watching this episode of Backstage with Becca B. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV. Or for more exclusive content from this interview and more, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Backstage with Becca B. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and give me a 5-star rating. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!